Midway through the campaign, the Liberals continue to hold on to their lead, and there are questions about the Conservatives' campaign. Also, questions about whether the West would separate after a Liberal win. Sebastien Dallaire is with the market research company Leger. Hi, Seb.
Hello, good evening.
So, Seb, halfway into the campaign now, the polling numbers appear to be fairly stable. What does that tell you?
It's telling us that it's starting to gel now, and so we have this two-party race right now. The NDP, unfortunately for them, have been left really on the wayside in this rate. In this race. It's been difficult for the Bloc in Quebec as well. So the votes for both the Liberals and the Conservatives are really starting to retake shape, to solidify. And now the question is, which way is it going to go? And will we have a majority, a minority? So some of the questions will become more pointed, but now it's pretty much what we thought it was going to be early in the campaign, which is a two-party race between the Liberals and the Conservatives, with the Liberals for now being in the lead. And it's a relatively comfortable lead at this point.
The Conservatives have been doing the traditional campaign, one policy announcement a day. They haven't, though, allowed any journalists to travel with them. A lot of people are saying the Conservatives are running a bad campaign. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Of course, in my job, I try to look at it from positioning, voting intentions, what is happening in public opinion. And when you're not in the lead, it might be helpful to have more journalists covering you, generate more media attention, especially in settings where, as we saw a few days ago, in some of the big conservative meetings, it generates a lot of enthusiasm. It really speaks to the fact that the conservative base is motivated. It is listening to what Pierre Poilievre has to say. There's a lot of excitement. Having more journalists attend these things could probably help create a sense of momentum. Not having as many journalists and relying on secondhand accounts or videos coming from other media outlets without being present in person at all these things may not help in creating this sense of strong momentum in the conservative campaign. And the daily announcements, unfortunately, have been drowned by the daily pronouncements coming from the White House. So that's a reality for all parties, but obviously that tends to favor the party that's ahead because they don't have to cover ground. They're already in a good position. So if you're trailing, you need to be more visible as much as you can.
And something that we don't talk about a lot here in Quebec is Western alienation. I mean, there are polls that say that a significant number of people in Alberta and Saskatchewan say they would actually consider seceding from Canada if the Liberals win a majority government. Should we be paying more attention to this kind of idea?
It's a sentiment that we've been measuring in Western Canada for a long time. And while sometimes the pandemic seems to have created a bit of a break in how we look at the past, because it seems like the past 5 years took forever. We have to remember that even before then, when Justin Trudeau squeaked by a minority victory the last time around, Westerners were very angry about it, especially because the Liberals did not win the popular vote. So that was already generating a lot of feeling of alienation. And of course, we could go back all the way to the 1970s, early 80s to talk about, to look at that feeling out west. How deep is it? We'll see what happens after the election, but we also have to remember that Mark Carney remains quite popular out west. In fact, the Liberals have right now higher scores than they've had in a long time, and Mark Carney is from Alberta. So how strong that feeling is probably depends on who you ask.
And you were talking about earlier about how the numbers are starting to solidify. How important will the debates be next week, do you think?
Every election, of course, the debates are a point of focus. We tend to overstate how important they are in various elections. Now it's a bit different because it's been so hard to cut through the Trump noise, if we call it that way. during the campaign, the debates could be a real opportunity for leaders, especially leaders who are not who are trying to catch up to Mark Carney right now, to really be heard, to be seen. And what we can expect is a real slugfest directed at Mark Carney. The three main opposition leaders are going to go after Mark Carney because all three need to steal some votes from the Liberals at this stage, or in the case of the Conservatives, hope that maybe the NDP or the Bloc can regain strength and split the vote on the centre and the left.
Okay. Thank you very much for this, Sam.
My pleasure.